I fear the humans. I risk my station by uttering those words aloud, but I think everyone fears them. Secretly. This fear is not a recent epiphany, as you would assume, considering the recent developments in our war. I've been afraid of them for centuries. I used to be ashamed of that fear. I try to pretend like it didn't exist. Now I risk my reputation and my life by declaring it, because if you do not broker a peace, they will eat us. As an elf, same as you, I understand your apprehension. If we were to broker a peace, they would incur severe penalties for the war we've waged, and to accept those terms would be the equivalent to surrendering. And I counter that we should submit, because I know for certain the humans won't. It was 4 centuries ago, when I first talked to a human. He was in the center of a pile of corpses when we found him. His small group had encountered a standard patrol by sheer misfortune. 38 dead in total, 31 elven. He was nearly starving, and smelled of rotting flesh. The elves and horse beside him were eviscerated and picked clean in areas, probably before the mass went rancid. Upon closer inspection, we realized that the sole survivor lacked his entire arm, a leg beneath the knee, and chunks from his remaining leg, none of which was sustained during this battle. He was taken in and removed from his armor, sword, prosthetic, and brace. We sat him at a table and presented him with food, which he ate without question. I sat across from him, as I was the only one trained in interrogation at our station. "You're quick to eat whatever we present to you. How can you be so sure it won't be your demise?" I questioned, as I read in my silver snake, a thin chain lit with thorns. "If you wanted to kill me, you would have done it when you found me. As to why you brought me here, I can take a guess," he said, dropping a morsel of food back onto the plate and wiping his hand upon the table. At that moment, the chain shot out, coiling itself around his remaining arm. "I have a few questions for you. I suggest you answer, otherwise this will get more uncomfortable with the second." I leaned in as a colleague retrieved the plate, heartbroken that she had to miss even a minute of the interrogation. The human paused and had to stifle a laugh as he stared at the item connecting the two of us. "I'm practically a child by your standards. What information could I possibly give you? You might as well be taking orders from infants," he teased, knowing full well he had just insulted the entirety of our prideful race. Quickly his mood changed as the slow crawl of the chain further tightened itself around his arm, nearly breaking the skin as the thorns dragged across it. "How many more elite units are in our forests?" He was visibly confused by this question. Then it turned into a smug smile, as if he was going to wisecrack about how honored he was to be called elite in any fashion. In the end, he decided against it, valuing his remaining arm over my pride. "Couldn't tell you. I don't think anything like that exists." Instantly, the silver snake increased his speed, lacerating the very surface of his flesh with numerous shallow wounds. He took it well, only grunting as the exchange occurred. "Don't lie to me. Your entire outfit was equipped with magic weapons and armor. Only groups that show promise are given such a boon. They're all basic enchantments, but they still outclass mundane items. Magic items are rare. It takes centuries of theory to develop an enchantment, safely imparted onto an item, and ensure the connection is stable. It only made sense for them to be given to soldiers that you were certain could succeed. I only have an arm and a fucked leg. Does that scream elite to you? The 7 that died were cartographers, fucking map makers. Are they miraculously elite?" He seemed genuinely offended, pulling his hands inwards, causing the silver snake to scratch the back of my hand. The chain briefly slacked as the sudden pain caused me to lose focus on the tool. "That would suggest that one human can just kill 4 elves. That's impossible. It doesn't make any sense. And why didn't we find any maps of them? They couldn't have been simple cartographers," I said, trying to convince myself more than disprove the human in front of me. It was true that we found the tools in the paper required to draw maps, but they were all blank. He flexed his finger, smiling for a moment. "You're right, it doesn't make sense. But here we are, an amputee trying to convince an ancient man that he isn't some sort of expert killer." He leaned onto the table, trying a little too hard to be menacing. "Did it ever occur to you that when the battle started, I ordered men to take horses and retreat as fast as they could?" I broke out of my stupor, having nearly forgotten that this was supposed to double as torture. "Why would you do that? Why were they commanded to leave you to die? Your group might have had more survivors. Why would you throw away 7 lives like that?" The silver snake called tightly once more, scraping against the tender and raw wounds. "The maps that they carried are worth thousands more. It would be shameful to die with them in our possession," he spat out, eyeing the snake that smeared sticky blood over his skin. "Would you like to hear a story? I can't promise that it's true or false, Only that'll tell you why your kind is losing. My ears twitched at this, overcome with rage and curiosity. Every fibre of my being compelled me to kill him for even suggesting we were losing. But every elf, including me, wondered why the humans were gaining ground. The silver snake travelled to his neck, awaiting my order for it to become a noose. This story, will it really tell me why humans are so formidable? The human shrugged at this, as if his life didn't depend on the validity of the story. When the Earth was young, she birthed the races. They could talk and truly change the very world they lived in. Like the bitch she was, she demanded they fight for her love, for all the resources she had to offer. But they were still her children, so she granted each one a gift that mirrored small parts of herself. The dwarves were granted the gifts of a bear, able to eat what little they had and work long hours. The halflings were granted the gifts of flowers, able to suffer any hardship with a smile, and to live anywhere the sun reaches. The orcs were granted the gift of lions, strength and ferocity in excess. The men of dragons were granted the gift of the river, always moving yet always along a path. They are restless yet disciplined, and they are turbulent yet calm. The elves were granted the gifts of an owl, fast, silent, beautiful, and can react in an instant to his prey. So on and so forth. When it came to the humans' turn, the earth had run out of gifts to give. Even the longevity she had in excess was dry. Despite this, the humans were not the first to go, nor the second, the third, or the fourth. The earth smiled as she realized she gave the greatest gift of all to the humans. He was interrupted by the silver snake as it strangled him. What was it? What was the gift? I nearly yelled, cursing him for stopping. I quickly realized that my eagerness to hear the answer triggered the snake to tighten. The device slackened once more as I leaned back into my chair. The human couldn't help but smile wildly at this, clearly proud that he managed to engage a member of such a stoic race. His voice came out raspy, and it pained him to swallow. All the other races were masters of their craft. Dwarven smiths and miners, halfling poets and writers, orc berserkers, draco martial artists, and elf mages and bowmen. Compared to them, humans were children, and children didn't feel fear. For one reason or another, a child doesn't care about consequences. They may be unaware of what they may be, or merely think the rewards are far greater than they are. I slammed my fist into the table, as the silver snake spun around the human's arm, leaving deeper and deeper cuts over the same broken skin. That's not true. Everyone feels fear. Everyone. Tell me the truth. Why are you winning? It's close enough, so what does it matter? He screamed out, as the thorns of the snake scraped the insides of his wounds. It's not like it'll help you win. He gasped as the onslaught ended, the blooded snake retreating onto my palm. It matters because I'll kill you if you don't tell me. The silver snake readied itself to pounce on the human's neck. The moment we are born, we are told we're dead men. As children we work in the mine. It is safe, warm, and a way to grow strong. From there the women become smiths and woodcarvers. The elderly are tanners and farmers. We are any role we're told to be. Bowmen, cartographers, sailors, trap finders, magicians, engineers. We take risks because, at the end of the day, we're dead men. With reckless abandon, we copy dwarven technology. We enchant weapons. We throw away our lives. Because all of this, he gestured to his missing arm and ruined legs, doesn't matter to a dead man. I was left in silence as the silver snake jumped onto his arm, and slowly crawled up to his neck. It was depressing to learn that they lacked real hope, that they only struggle because doing nothing ends in the same result, though in my mind I would prefer to do nothing. The device strangled him, as intended, though it did end in my injury. My legs were bruised and my foot was broken when he flipped the heavy table in one last act of defiance. It removed one soldier from the battlefield for 2 months. As I conclude my open letter as to why we should surrender to the humans, I must relate to you his final battle cry. As the noose tightened around his neck, he did not claw at it in some last-ditch effort to evade death. He used his hand to crawl towards my writhing body as pain shot through both of us. He forced his lungs to push what little he had left for me to hear, as he gripped onto my armor. Nothing to lose. Everything to gain. I just want to live.